Alright, so we got a head and little feet. Now you can stop here. This one we're just going to, real simple little monster here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another small piece of clay, like this, make a little ball out of it. Again. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this little ball of clay in half to make 2 equal sized spheres. So I'm going to cut that in half like that. And I'm going to roll these again. There's one little sphere. This looks like a football, really. And another little sphere right there. And they should be about the same size. So I'm going to get them the same. And these are eyeballs. So what we're going to do, bring our little guy back now. You can see them. We'll take each of these and dip them in the water. So put the water right there. Dip them in the water. And then I'm going to push those right down into the sides like this. Wiggle them around. You should feel them kind of grab so that you'll know they're stuck. Okay, so now we've got a face, as you can see. Oh, that's what I want right there. You can use anything. You can use anything. I'm using the end of a paintbrush here. We're gonna dip this into some water, get it wet, and I'm simply going to put it right into the eye here like this. Just push it right in. Give it a little twist. Now the end of this paintbrush is non-porous, and what that means is that the clay is going to stick to it. So what you have to do is make sure it's wet, and then you want to pull it right back out. So I'm going to just give this little twist and go into the eyeball here and pull it right back out. There we are. And we now have our little monster with his 2 eyes. Okay, so all we've done here is real simple. We've done and by the way, it's got some cracks in it. I don't really care about that because it's monstrous. So what we've done is, in a real simple way, we just add a small pinch pot, which we've reshaped into some sort of a little mouth here, and then we added a nose here, and some eyes, and 2 little feet, and there's your monster. Now you can do a couple of embellishments here. Okay, one of which is take anything. Well, again, we'll use our paintbrush here, get it wet in the water. We'll come in and give him some toes. So I'm just going to come in and just push once, twice, 3 times down on that foot, and the same thing here. Once, twice, 3 times down there to give him some toes. Well, he's got some really nice little toes. I hope you can see that. And again, nothing fancy here. Now I like to give my guy teeth on the bottom. This is a real simple. So we're going to use a different technique now. Pushing out of the way for a second. We're going to take this ball of clay and we're going to make a coil. All right. So a little ball of clay right there, and I'm going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to move my hand like that. So I'm going to roll this, and I'll do it kind of slowly. Just keep rolling. And you see how my hand's bouncing? It's not round yet. It's kind of oblong. So I need to make sure I go a little bit of extra pressure here. Just roll it back and forth, and when I do, we're getting that, starting to get that nice little coil. So work my hand now. I'm going to work my hand sideways, like this. So I'm moving over to the side, and so my coil will get longer. And I'm going to do this a couple of times, going back and forth. And I know it's hard to see from the angle. It's hard to do a coil and show you what I'm doing here. Again, we're doing this. We're doing a little hand movement like this. And as we said before, sometimes people will tell you that you should just use your palm of your hand. I like to use the fingers also. Keep rolling this down. It's getting kind of long here. I'm going to cut it off. I'm only interested in just that part right there. So we're going to coil this some more. You got a pretty thin coil there right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this little coil for his bottom teeth. So let me bring him back in here. Okay, there's the coil. So I'm going to cut off a little section like this. Make a nice, on the other end, same. Dip this in the water, make sure it sticks well. I'm going to put that right inside. If it's too long, this one's too long, pull it back out. And chop it again. Take a little bit more off. Put that coil inside, like that. I've got to turn him toward me so I can see. Okay. So now we got that little coil in there, and you just push it down and give it a little bit of a wiggle to make sure it sticks. So now what you have is a guy looks like he's got a coil in his mouth. Take a little bit of a shaping tool here, a little bit of water on it, and just shape that in there so you can see it better. Okay. So now we've got this guy's mouth. And then very simply, we're going to take anything. You take your needle tool again and just make some little cuts here. And every time you make a cut, you're making a tooth. And you don't have to cut too far like this. There you are. And now we have a guy with a row of really nasty looking bottom teeth. Okay, we can also take our coil here again, and this time I'm going to coil it. It's getting kind of dry, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. We're going to coil it and give a little. I'm going to do it unevenly so we can get a little point. So there's one point. Cut that off. Do it again. And there's another cone-shaped pointy thing like this. And these turn out to be horns, and they don't have to be the same size. Again, this is a monster. Bring the little guy back in. I'm going to dip the ends of these horns into water. Okay. And I'm going to stick them way back here on the back of his head. Again, I'm going to use the same technique. Oops, the wind's getting up. Push them in and wiggle to make sure they're snug. And you can kind of tug on them, and you'll tell that they're not going to go anywhere. And then you can give them a nice little bend, however you want to do it. Make them a long horn and have these guys come out. You need to be aware that these guys right here are going to be really sharp. I'm going to kind of deaden them down just a little bit. So these guys are going to be pretty sharp, so you want to be careful about the fact that this is not going to be a toy at all. So there's your first little monster. Real simple. Only took a few minutes to make. And so a little pinch pot for the mouth, and straighten him up the way you want him. Now, since I've made him on this board, I'm not going to mess with him anymore. He's going to sit right here till he dries. You don't have to cover him. Yeah, the horns are going to dry faster. They're going to dry first, but it doesn't make any difference. He'll dry out just fine. If he falls apart, well, throw him away and start over again. But there's first little monster. Okay? Cool.